He then responded, وَمِنْ ذُرِّيَّتِي, what about my progeny, my seed? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala responded, لَا يَنَالُ أَهْلِ الظَّالِمِينَ لَا يَنَالُ أَهْلِ الظَّالِمِينَ لَا يَنَالُ أَهْلِ الظَّالِمِينَ. But my covenant, yes, will extend to your progeny, but will not include those amongst them who commit acts of dhulm. So this included both Ismail alayhi salam and Ishaq alayhi salam. So how to get out of this? The genius, the evil genius went to work and said, to be a Jew, your mother must be a Jew. His mother was not. His mother was a slave woman. So he's excluded. Up to this day, they live with that lie. Up to this day. To be a Jew, your mother must be a Jew. That's a lie. When you stand in Allah's court, you are called by your name and your father's name. Your name and your father's name. There's only one exception to this case. And this is why Allah mentions it again and again in the Qur'an. Whenever He mentions the name Isa, He says Isa ibn Maryam, son of Mary. All the rest of mankind, your name and your father's name. They changed the child of the sacrifice because they couldn't have Ismail alayhi salam as the child of the sacrifice, but he's not included in the covenant. So now the new child of the sacrifice is Ishaq alayhi salam. And the place of the sacrifice is no longer Arabia. It is now relocated in Palestine. They did a number of other things. My book, which is downstairs, The Religion of Abraham and the State of Israel, documents all of these dramatic changes which took place in the Torah, which prevented them from recognizing Muhammad as a true prophet. They did a hatchet job, really, on Ismail to exclude him completely and totally. They said, and it is still there in the Torah, he's a wild ass of a man. No, to them in hell. His hand against every man. Some kind of a highway robber. And every man's hand against him, so our hand also can be upon him. So wailul lil Arab, woe unto the Arabs. Every man's hand against him. Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam is from the seed of that highway robber. While asked of a man, so he cannot be a prophet of Allah. Not only did they reject him, but they did more than that. They now began to conspire to destroy Islam. This is the second Shaban in Medina. And it is at this moment, after 17 months that the door had remained open, it is at this moment that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shuts the door. The door to divine mercy is now shut for the Jews. What did He do? In the Qur'an, there is an ayah in Surah Al-Baqarah which explains it. فَأَعُوذُ بِاللَّهِ مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ الرَّجِيمِ مَا نَنْسَخْ مِنْ آيَةٍ أَوْ نُنْسِهَا نَأْتِ بِخَيْرٍ مِنْهَا أَوْ مِثْلِهَا. We do not cause any ayah to be cancelled or abrogated or to be forgotten, but that we replace it with that which is better or similar. He didn't say different, did he? No, he said better or similar. This is called naskh. The first act of naskh. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala abrogates the old Qibla, replaces it with a new Qibla. The old Qibla is mansukh, abrogated. Not 50%, 100%. The new Qibla is not Washington. Turn out to Pervez Musharraf. The new Qibla is Makkah. Number 2, he abrogates the law of fasting. The old law in the Torah is now mansukh, not 50%, 100% mansukh. Abrogated, cancelled, replaced with a new law. Where is the new law? In the Qur'an. The law does not come from the government. The law does not come from the Supreme Court. It most certainly doesn't come from the New Straits Times. The law does not come from the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. The law does not come from Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala. The law does not come from Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu. The law comes from Al-Hakam, the lawgiver. Why am I doing this? Because of what follows. The new law is in the Qur'an. Came from Allah. شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن فمن شهد منكم الشهر فليصم. So you fast for Ramadan from dawn until sunset. وحل لكم ليلة الصيام الرفث إلى نسائكم. You can go to your wives now during the night time. Number 3, the old law for the punishment for zina is now mansukh, abrogated. He didn't say 50% or 75%. No, completely and totally abrogated. It is completely and totally replaced with a new law. And the new law is in the Qur'an. The new law is a public flogging. That ummah is also now mansukh. Tilka ummatun qad khalat, says Allah. It no longer has any legitimacy. It is now replaced with a new ummah. The ummah of Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. Huwa ijtabakum. He has now chosen you. When that occurred, the implication was that the door to mercy was closed. No longer can Banu Israel as an ummah earn Allah's mercy. An individual Jew can take the Shahada and become a Muslim. And provided that he is sincere in his Shahada and he is not attempting to deceive Allah and His Messenger, then he can have salvation. But as a community, the Jewish community no longer has any divine legitimacy. The further implication is that divine punishment now commences. And when divine punishment commences, Yawmul Qiyamah has started. The Prophet ﷺ now speaks. And he says, Ana wal Qiyamah kahatain. I and Qiyamah are like these two fingers. Meaning that Yawmul Qiyamah commenced in the lifetime of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. And we have been living in Yawmul Qiyamah since that day.